In the shadowy world of international espionage, one name stands above the rest: Eli Cohen. Known by his codename, Agent 88, Cohen's life was a tale of daring deception, unshakable courage, and ultimate sacrifice, a story that changed the course of history forever. Eli Cohen, Mossad's most daring agent, was a shadow in the corridors of power, a figure who redefined espionage itself. His mission in Syria was incredibly bold, filled with danger at every turn, and ultimately, a sacrifice that echoed his name into the history of the espionage world.
Eli Cohen, codenamed Agent 88, worked for the Israeli intelligence service, Mossad. While his story goes back 50 years, many key details are only emerging now. Mossad has never spoken publicly about Eli Cohen, but Syrian sources have now shed new light on the case. Cohen was recruited as an Israeli spy, but then sent undercover in South America using an alias to prepare for his eventual deployment to Syria. The stakes could not have been higher, as the man the Israelis called a super spy would ultimately discover to his cost. It's a story that begins with politics. In 1958, Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser signed a treaty with Syria to form what was known as the United Arab Republic. Israel viewed the new state with concern.
Syria was a big mystery to, well, Israel and really the whole world, because it was going through a state of flux. In part, that's because General Nasser down in Egypt wanted to create a pan-Arab league or nation, and Syria would be part of it.
Eli Cohen was born in 1924 in Alexandria, Egypt, a city teeming with cultural diversity and political unrest. Raised in a Jewish family, Cohen excelled in academics, particularly in languages. By his early 20s, he was fluent in Arabic, Hebrew, French, and later English, a skill set that would become invaluable in his future career. The rise of Arab nationalism in Egypt during the 1940s made life increasingly difficult for the Jewish community. As Egypt's political climate grew more hostile, Cohen's Zionist sympathies deepened. In 1957, after a wave of anti-Semitic expulsions, Eli Cohen moved to Israel, leaving behind his family and a life of uncertainty. Once in Israel, Cohen struggled to find his footing, but his unwavering loyalty to his new homeland caught the attention of Israeli intelligence. His intelligence, charisma, and linguistic skills made him a perfect candidate for covert operations. By 1960, Mossad had identified Cohen as a unique asset. His ability to blend in and his knowledge of Middle Eastern cultures made him the ideal operative for a critical mission. Israel needed someone who could infiltrate Syria, its most hostile neighbor, and uncover its military secrets. Cohen underwent extensive training in espionage techniques, surveillance, cryptography, radio communication, and weapon handling. But his greatest asset was his charm, a trait that would allow him to manipulate even the most suspicious adversaries. With his new identity as Kamal Amin Thabet, Mossad crafted an elaborate cover story. Thabet was a wealthy Syrian expatriate who had made his fortune in Argentina and was now returning to Damascus to invest in his homeland. To solidify his new persona, Mossad sent Cohen to Buenos Aires, Argentina. There he lived as Kamal Amin Thabet, establishing himself within the Syrian expat community. Cohen frequented social events, mingling with influential Syrians, and building a reputation as a patriotic Syrian businessman. His charisma won him friendships that would later open doors in Damascus. In Buenos Aires, Cohen demonstrated his knack for gathering intelligence even before reaching Syria. He befriended Syrian military officials, gaining insights into their operations and establishing trust that would prove invaluable later.
Meanwhile, Nasser's Egypt-Syrian alliance fell apart.
In 1961, Cohen arrived in Damascus, fully immersed in his new identity. His affluence, wit, and generosity quickly made him a prominent figure among the Syrian elite. Cohen hosted extravagant parties at his home, where military officials, politicians, and socialites mingled freely. These gatherings weren't just social events, they were intelligence goldmines. Cohen gained the trust of high-ranking officials, including General Amin al-Hafiz, who would later become Syria's president. By positioning himself as a staunch supporter of Syrian nationalism, Cohen was granted access to sensitive military installations and classified information. One of Cohen's most significant contributions was his detailed mapping of Syrian fortifications on the Golan Heights. Under the guise of expressing admiration for the troops, Cohen toured military outposts, memorizing their layouts and defenses. These maps would later play a pivotal role in Israel's victory during the Six-Day War.
In the early 1960s, Eli Cohen was an important agent of the Israeli National Intelligence Service, Mossad. A fluent speaker of the Syrian Arabic dialect, he was embedded within the upper echelons of Damascus society. Trusted by influential Syrians and by international diplomats, Eli Cohen posed as a Syrian businessman using the name Kamel Tabet.
Cohen's intelligence was relayed back to Israel using a hidden radio transmitter. Each transmission was a race against time, as Syrian counterintelligence constantly scanned for unauthorized signals. Despite the ever-present risk, Cohen's reports provided Israel with critical insights into Syria's military strategies, arms deals, and alliances.
March 1963, that period was very, very eventful in Syrian and Israeli affairs. What the biggest and most important was the takeover of the Ba'athist Party. Huge shift. Well, it was just, critical time in the shifts of the Israeli intelligence and then the Syrian government. So that was a very eventful period.
Cohen paid a visit to Israel in March 1963, the same month as the Arab nationalist Ba'ath Party seized power in Syria in a major coup. He returned to Israel the following year for family reasons.
Now, Eli's last visit to Israel took place in November 1964. And he came back without the permission of his handlers because he wanted to be present for the birth of his third child, his first son.
In 1965, Cohen's luck ran out. Syrian counterintelligence, with assistance from Soviet experts, intercepted his radio transmissions. A meticulous sweep led them to his hidden transmitter. Cohen was arrested and subjected to brutal interrogations. Despite torture, he refused to reveal details about Mossad or his handlers. On May 18, 1965, Eli Cohen was publicly hanged in Damascus. His death was a devastating blow to Israel, but his legacy endured. Cohen's intelligence saved countless lives and ensured Israel's survival in a volatile region. Even today, Eli Cohen's story serves as a testament to the courage and sacrifice of those who risk everything for their homeland. Agent 88's mission was more than an operation. It was a defining chapter in the history of Israeli intelligence. Eli Cohen may have fallen, but his shadow stands tall, etched into history as a hero, a patriot, and a legend of Mossad. His story is a reminder that bravery and sacrifice can change the course of history. Thank you for watching 10, The Eternal Narratives. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it.